Well, hello there, viewers. A bit disappointed, really. This is the follow-on from the video I posted yesterday evening. I mentioned I was going to be doing something today in a little bit more depth about old Holly Willoughby. It's probably the last one in the, I don't know if I've done 4 now. Everybody's doing them on Philip and Holly. Thoughts on them both. Everything thus far in the main has been about Philip with everybody. And it turns out today, as I look on YouTube, most everybody has got the knives out for Holly. She's next in line. I'm a bit aggrieved by this because I did mention yesterday I was going to have a couple of words with you about Holly and a couple of things that I've been disappointed with her over the last few days, but also the last couple of years. And then I notice everybody's beating me to the punch. So here we go. I've not listened to anybody else's stuff, but I do know that they're all saying that she might be on shaky ground, as I mentioned to you yesterday. I don't think at the moment she will be, but I do think there'll be repercussions from this last sort of few days and her actions over the last few days. But yeah, Philip and Holly, he was always going to go. It was inevitable. He was going to go. As I said yesterday, it was always going to be a him or a me scenario. She was always going to win. She's got age on the side, she's got looks on the side, she's got probably an even bigger social media following. She's a star in the ascendancy, and he's probably going the other way, very much so now. I believe since he's gone, he's been promised 3 more shows. He's been told he will keep the dancing on ice, and he will keep the cube, and he will keep something else. That's all well and good. I think they had to make him promises, assurances just to get him out the door. But I think once he's gone out the door, he's now out the door as far as this man is concerned. I think they may start to backtrack with things. To be honest with you, if what we're hearing about all these super injunctions are true, and if what we're hearing about them being lifted in a month or two's time does come about, then I think they'll have plenty of reasons to get rid of him, and I think that's what they'll be waiting on. I don't think he's got long left in mainstream TV, but I could be proved wrong. And the accusations against him at this stage are only accusations, let's not forget that. But Holly Willoughby, well, the problems I've got with Holly, I mentioned a couple of them yesterday. I do not understand her, her statement to the press when it was decided he was going to be pushed out the door. You know, I've had 15 years with you on the sofa. It's going to seem a totally different place. You taught me everything. It's been great working with you. It's going to be strange. Why would you write all that when you've pushed him out the door? Write nothing. Just write nothing. At least in his statement, he didn't mention you. He didn't mention you because he thinks you've thrown him under the bus. And to all intents and purposes, you have. You know, as I say, it was always a him or me, and they chose you as you expected them to. I struggle to understand why you would write that in a statement. But let's take it back a little bit further. I've got this thing in my mind about the day that he actually came out live on air. I'm going to put the old glasses on in a minute to read it all, because I rewatched it about 15 minutes ago. Because I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago in an earlier posting. Not so much about the things Holly said that day, but I mentioned some of old Eamonn's actions throughout the thing. And I was slightly in error with what I said about Eamonn. More of that in a moment. But the whole thing, the whole episode leaves a really sour taste. It always did at the time, and it probably does more so now in the light of what's happened over the last few days. And I'd like to air these bits and pieces that I've just taken off the internet, and my opinion on them, my take on them, and I'd love to know what you, the viewers out there, think of what I'm saying. Do you agree with me? Do you not? Am I out of order? Am I on the money? But I watched it earlier. Let me tell you some of the things that came out. Philip was saying when he decided to come out, he said he wasn't forced to come out live on air. He felt he had to do it. He'd known for a number of years he had to do it. And he did mention that Holly has known for a good while that he was gay and that he did need to come out and he wasn't sleeping well and he wasn't coping with things. He said that. She agreed with all of that. So there's point one. He said, I've wanted to come out, as I say, I've not been forced into it. I needed to do it because I'm not sleeping, I'm not enjoying life. He said, and we have plenty of people on this sofa telling us about the problems and airing amazing things and telling us their truths. He said, and I've always felt a fake that I'm not telling my own truth. He said, but all you can be in life is honest with yourself. All you can be in life is honest with yourself. And today I need to take that mantra and let the people know that I am gay. Now, I had heard previously, or since that happened, that he was saying he always thought he may be gay. Even before he got married, he thought he may be gay. I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago when I read about his brother, who before he got married, he knew he was gay. He actually knew he was gay. And I read stories about his brother where he said him and a friend of his used to troll the streets of wherever they lived to find people to take home. Now, that was his brother. His brother who then went and got married, then went and had children, then committed sexual offences against a minor, then got arrested, got taken to court, and last Friday got sent to prison. Well, got sent to prison before that, but I think last Friday he was so long he'd been in prison for. You've then got Philip Schofield, who I'm pretty sure I have read, and I'm positive I've read, but you can check my facts, said he always thought he was gay. But then he thought he was gay, then he also got married, then he also had children. There's no other skeletons there yet that we know of, although many outlets and many people are saying there's more to come, along the lines of he may have been doing things he shouldn't have been doing, like his brother, in which case, if he has been, and if things do come out, then he might end up in some hot water like his brother, but he may not. At this stage, they are only accusations, and that's, I don't know anything more. But the thing that I take from it all is that he always thought he may be gay. And as I say, he married somebody and had children. And I believe his wife, like Holly, has been his rock, as he puts her. I believe he, like Holly, has been brilliant since he's come out and been nothing but supportive, as of his daughters. Well, they probably couldn't be much else if they didn't know, could they? And at the end of the day, it's probably helped that he's given them a good lifestyle. It's helped that he's carried on Loose Women on his £730,000 per year contract, plus the money he get from all his other TV appearances, and plus the cars he's helped us to sell and to buy over the years, and all his endorsements. He's done well for himself, Philip. He's done well for himself. So it all got stage managed very well that day, the day he came out. But that is what he told us he needed to be true to himself. He told us he'd been married 27 years. Holly, for her part, said, "I will always be by your side forever, Philip. You know that. I'll always be by your side forever." That changed this last sort of week or so when she decided she didn't want to be by his side anymore and she wanted him out the door. She also said, "I've never ever been as proud as my friend as I am today. Today I'm more proud of you than I've ever been the day you've come out." They both, as I say, discussed the fact that she knew he'd been gay for a good while. I always wanted to know, did she know before his wife knew? I think there's a chance she did. Some might say she was closer to Philip than his wife, but I believe they all used to holiday together, and I believe she really likes his wife. Some might say, should she have told his wife, even though she worked with Philip? Did his wife deserve to know? If the boot had been on the other foot, and what is her fella called? Is it Dan? Is it Dan Baldwin or something? And he were gay, would she like to know? If the boot was on the other foot, obviously it's not going to be because they're in different backgrounds, but let's say Philip's wife worked with her husband, old Dan, and they presented this morning, would she have liked to turn on her TV, I think it was a Friday morning, that Friday morning, and to see Ruth and Eamonn show taken over by her husband Dan and Philip's wife, I can't remember her name, but at the moment that doesn't really matter. Would she have liked to have seen her husband admit to the world that he was gay? To say that he might have known it before he got married? To say that Philip's wife, well, this is all hypothetical, Philip's wife who's presenting the show with him has known for a number of years, to say that she's always been his rock? How would Holly have felt if Dan, her husband, admitting to be gay, had been welcomed to the shoulder of Philip's wife, and she's patting him on the head and saying she's so proud of him and never been more happy with him, will always be there by his side? Would she have been happy? Because I'll tell you now, from the Holly I've seen, this is without things that I've heard on the YouTube recently and in the press, the Holly that I've seen comes across as very, very straight-laced. She thinks she's got an absolutely fantastic marriage, and she probably has. She thinks she can do no wrong within a marriage. She thinks her husband is the same. She does not know what happens behind closed doors. She's in a totally different environment and world to ourselves. As I say, again, on £730,000 per week, all her endorsements with Marks and Sparks and all the other things that she does, all the other shows that she does. I remember Holly Willoughby on one of those This Morning programmes about, it might have been 3, 4 or even 5 years ago, time flies so I can't remember for certain. There was a woman there with the back to the audience, to the camera. She was facing Philip and Holly, and this woman was discussing and saying how she has affairs with men, she's still married, She doesn't want to be seen on screen because she loves her husband and her husband loves her. Her husband doesn't know anything about these affairs. They have absolutely no sex life. They haven't for a long time. She misses that part of her marriage and misses it greatly. She's had affairs with a number of men, but they've been men that I think in the main haven't been married, but whether or not, they've never told the partners. They've been extremely discreet. She's never ever wanted to hurt her husband, and it will kill her to hurt him. But without this escape that she's had with these men, she feels she would have lost her husband. She'd have had to have divorced him or walked away from him. And she feels that what she's done over the last 10, 15 years has actually saved her marriage. She said, I love my husband dearly. We've got a reasonable lifestyle. We have children. We both work. I know some might say I'm staying with them for the wrong reasons, when I'm looking at other men, but that isn't the case. I love him dearly. But there's something in our marriage that he can't provide, and I found it. And Holly, throughout it all, I'll never forget seeing this, was pulling her face. As Philip was asking questions and talking to the lady, Holly was really prim and proper and pulling her face and shaking her head in and saying, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be. And I thought to myself at the time, look, Holly, you don't know what happens in normal life. You don't know what happens when someone else closes their curtains or closes the front door. She was coming across as really, really moral, and she does many things. I've seen her before doing that, but that was the one that I remember the most. But I've seen her before when morality raised its ugly head and things of that nature, and doing the right thing and not doing the wrong thing. She's all against the person that she thinks is in the wrong. Yet this day with Philip, who's been married for 27 years, probably known he was gay before he got married, lived a lie with his life for, say, 22, 23, 24, 25 of them, until he actually told her he was gay. Maybe he told her when he realised things were going to come out in age, she might find out. But a guy that's lived a life for that long, Holly, you're all over him, and you're telling him that you're more proud than you've ever been of him that day. I don't know, I don't think any of it was right. And I just think, had the boot been on the other foot, and had she found out on live TV that it was her husband that had said he was gay, and how would she have felt of the woman that was comforting him? How would she have felt of the things that came out of her husband's mouth and her husband's friend's mouth? I don't think she'd have been happy. Yet she said all the things she said, and I just thought it was awful. Now, the Eamonn bit, I mean, Eamonn's having a pop today. Eamonn was having a pop yesterday. Eamonn has a pop every day because he doesn't like him. I've always said the thing is with Eamonn, the day he came out, Eamonn walked over to him and again put him on his shoulder and was patting him. I've watched it today. I was wrong there, viewers. I was wrong. But what Eamonn did was went over to him and gave him a hug. They had a big hug. They hugged it out. Eamonn then went and sat down. Eamonn said, you should never be ashamed of your sexuality, Philip. What else did he say? We'll always be here for you, Philip. Don't worry. We're always here for you. We're a family. We're a team. And then he ended it with, let's have a big round of applause for, was it Mr. S? And he led the applause. Now, this is the same Eamonn that has spouted bile over the last couple of years since he's lost the gig on this morning about Philip Schofield and how much he despises him, how much he doesn't like him. He posted something yesterday, I believe, was it on his Instagram thing, to say his little daughter, a granddaughter, has given him a kiss, and it was the end to an absolutely great day. Now, the great day is in reference to Schofield losing his job. There's no doubt about that. Does that mean I'd love to have seen the Instagram thing? I don't do all that palaver myself. I'd love to see whether it was sunny or whether it was dark when he got this kiss, if he's shown the picture. If it was dark, then it would be the end to a great day. If it was early morning and the sun's out, well, that kiss wasn't given at the end of the night, Eamonn. It wasn't at the end of a great day. She kissed you first and then you had the great day at 3 o'clock when he lost his job. So you were just really using that as a way to have a dig at Philip, wasn't you? But that's all you ever do. But that day when he came out, oh, we'll always be here for you. We'll always be here for you. Let's hear it for Mr. S. So, you're the same as her, aren't you? At the end of the day, they all turn on one another. When money raises its ugly head, or when the loss of money raises its ugly head and there's a chance of losing jobs and losing monies, there's no loyalty there whatsoever. No loyalty at all. You're all the same as one another. And it disappoints to see it. It really, really does. But, as I say, you've got Holly and Phil, I think, were holidaying in Portugal for the last 10 or 12 years. Always pictured together on the sand, sunbathing, in the waves. Both had, was it £1 million villas, I believe, and they'd eat most nights in each other's villa all together. I believe when they're back home in England, they don't live a million miles away from one another. Often have Sunday lunches together, Sunday roasts, pictured all over the place, walking dogs and what have you. You know, perfect families, all love one another. As I say, money raises its ugly head, or the chance of losing money, and it's dog eat dog, isn't it? It's dog eat dog. The whole thing's disappointing, but all I will say is, Holly, when he came out as gay, showed the true colours there, I think. On Holly, when it, over the last couple of weeks, when it realised it was all falling apart, they were losing viewers again, showing her true colours. And I say, whoever she's with next, however well it goes initially, will people remember her for how she's been with Philip over the last couple of years? You know? They may not. She might get lucky. It might not affect her at all. But I won't be surprised if it did. Anyway, I, for one, will not shed a tear if she next loses her job. I'm not calling for her head, as all the GB news people have done with Philip. But if she lost a job, wouldn't bother me. I don't think she's covered herself in glory throughout the whole episode. I really don't. As I say, your comments down below. Sorry it went on a while, but that's it from me.